In the heart of a small town, the Sunrise Diner was a cozy haven where locals gathered for steaming coffee, warm pancakes, and the kind of comfort only a family-owned spot could offer. The checkered floor, red vinyl booths, and the faint hum of a jukebox playing classic rock gave the place a timeless charm. At the center of it all was Maya Carter, a 22-year-old waitress with a radiant smile and a knack for remembering every regular's order. Maya had been working at the diner for 2 years, saving every penny for nursing school while supporting her younger brother after their parents' passing. Her kindness was legendary. She'd slip extra fries to kids, chat with elderly patrons about their grandkids, and never let a bad day dim her warmth. On a crisp autumn evening, the diner was buzzing with its usual mix of truckers, families, and teens grabbing milkshakes. Maya weaved through the crowded tables, balancing trays of burgers and sodas with practiced ease. At table 12 sat Derek, a sharply dressed man in his 30s, his polished shoes and designer watch screaming big city arrogance. He was in town for a business meeting, clearly impatient with the small-town vibe. His 2 colleagues, quieter and more reserved, seemed uncomfortable with his loud complaints about the slow service, despite Maya's prompt attention. When Maya brought their bill, Derek barely glanced at her. He tossed a credit card on the table, muttering, "Finally. Took you long enough." Maya kept her smile, processed the payment, and returned with the receipt. As she cleared their plates, she noticed the tip line, blank. "Not a cent," Derek smirked, leaning back in the booth. "Maybe if you'd been faster, you'd have earned something," he said loudly, his voice carrying across the diner. A nearby couple gasped, and a regular, old Mr. Jenkins, shook his head in disgust. Maya's heart sank, but she held her composure, saying softly, "I hope you enjoyed your meal, sir." Inside, the sting of his words burned. Tips were her lifeline, and she'd given table 12 her all. Derek's colleagues shifted uncomfortably, one muttering, "That wasn't cool, man," but Derek just laughed, shrugging it off as they left. Maya busied herself wiping down the table, her cheeks flushed with humiliation. She wasn't just upset about the money, it was the way Derek had demeaned her, as if her hard work was worthless. What he didn't know was that Maya was more than a waitress. Months earlier, she'd made local headlines when she jumped into a freezing river to save a child who'd fallen through thin ice during a school outing. The town had hailed her as a hero, with the mayor even presenting her a community service award at a small ceremony. Maya, humble as ever, had downplayed the attention, saying she just did what anyone would. The next morning, the diner was quieter, the breakfast crowd just starting to trickle in. Maya was refilling coffee for a regular when the door chimed, and a woman in a sleek blazer walked in, followed by none other than Derek. The woman, Linda Hayes, was the regional manager for Derek's company, a tech firm scouting locations for a new office. Linda had chosen the diner for a follow-up meeting after hearing it was a local gem. Derek, still smug, didn't notice Maya at first, but she recognized him instantly. Her stomach knotted, but she approached their table with her usual warmth, offering menus and a smile. "Welcome to Sunrise Diner," she said. "Can I start you with some coffee?" Linda's eyes lit up as she looked at Maya, her face breaking into a grin. "Wait a second, you're Maya Carter, aren't you? The one who saved that kid from the river." Maya blushed, nodding shyly. "That was incredible," Linda continued, her voice warm. "I read about you in the paper. You're a real hero around here." The diner's regulars nodded proudly, and Mr. Jenkins piped up from his booth, "That's our Maya." Derek's smirk faltered, his eyes darting between Linda and Maya as he realized his mistake. Linda turned to Derek, her tone curious but pointed. "You were here last night, right? How was the service?" Derek shifted in his seat, mumbling, "It was fine." But Linda wasn't done. She leaned forward, her gaze sharp. "I heard you left no tip and made a scene. Care to explain?" The diner grew quiet, all eyes on Derek. He stammered, "It was just a busy night, I didn't mean anything by it." Linda's expression hardened. "That's not how we represent this company. Maya's the kind of person we'd be lucky to have on our team, and you disrespected her." She turned to Maya, her voice softening. "I'm so sorry for what happened. Your service is exceptional, and your courage is inspiring." Linda pulled out a crisp $50 bill, handing it to Maya. "This is for last night, and for putting up with unprofessional behavior." Maya, stunned, tried to refuse, but Linda insisted. "You've earned it and more." Then, addressing Derek, she added, "We'll discuss this back at the office. You're on notice, treat people better, or you won't last long." Derek's face burned with embarrassment, his arrogance deflated. He muttered an apology to Maya, barely audible, and avoided her gaze for the rest of the meal. Maya, ever gracious, served their table with the same kindness she gave everyone, but her co-workers exchanged knowing smiles. Word of the incident spread through the diner, with regulars quietly cheering for Maya's quiet victory. Over the next weeks, the diner's atmosphere seemed to glow a little brighter. Maya's story inspired a wave of support. Customers left bigger tips, and the local paper ran a follow-up story about her grace under pressure. Derek's company, under Linda's guidance, even donated to a community fund in Maya's honor, though Derek himself kept a low profile, likely humbled by the experience. Maya continued working her shifts, saving for nursing school, and never let the attention change her. She remained the heart of the Sunrise Diner, proof that kindness and courage could outshine even the rudest of critics. This story wasn't just about a moment of justice. It was about Maya's resilience, a community's pride, and a reminder that every person deserves respect, no matter their role. In a world quick to judge, Maya's quiet strength and an unexpected ally showed that heroism shines brightest in everyday acts of dignity.